The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome everyone to this edition of the Profile Webinars. Today's topic, we'll be talking about the download, we'll be talking about installing, activating, and updating Profile. We'll also talk about carry forward various tax files like tax prep, CanTax, and DTMax. So let's get started. A little bit of an introduction of who I am. My name is Jeffrey Kosen. Been with the company for about 5 years now and really enjoy doing these webinar series for the last 4 years. And I also do the how-to videos and I help out with some of the articles. Now for those who are going to be attending the profile tour, this is a great segue that you can watch before you attend the profile tour. That way you have everything set up before you do attend the profile tour. So it's a good idea to watch what we do with the activation, the download, the install, and the updates, and simply how to carry forward a file. That way you're prepared for the class that's up and coming in the near future. Okay. If you are in this webinar, you will get a prompt to save and run this window. Make sure that you do test your sound, that way you can hear me properly, and that your volume is at a high level, that way you can hear me. If you can't, just reach out to me, let me know that you can't, and I can always increase the volume. Now there's a section where you can actually ask some questions, enter a question for the staff member within the GoToWebinar control panel, and you can ask me the question. But I do ask everyone to respect everyone else's time today, so please try to put your questions towards the end of the session. That way we're respecting everyone's time. And if it's something that it is important that you want addressed, then you can place it in. And if I feel like it's something that is applicable to what we're talking about today, then I will answer it right away. But most likely, I will take your questions towards the end of the session. Thank you. If you're new to Profile, these are the 3 links that I would suggest. I'm going to show you where those links go to, but these are the 3 links. Getting on board is an onboarding page that we have for new users. It's a great page for those who are starting off. They want to learn more about Profile when they're getting started. And let me show you that page and what it looks like. So it's this here. How to access this page is under the profile. So you would go into profile.intuit.ca website. Under the Profile tab or menu, just go under Free Profile Training, and then under Free Profile Training, up above you'll see New to Profile. Visit our onboarding portal specifically designed for new users. Just click on the Learn More, and it's really good for getting started, learning the details of carrying forward and data import, a little bit of information about creating or using a return, e-filing, and it's all laid out pretty easily for you. So you'll have system requirements, downloading. So this is some of the stuff I'll be talking about today. But if you're looking for great information and you want to go ahead and learn more, go to this onboarding page. Again, it's under the Profile, Free Profile Training, and then up above it will have a link to this page. And just go through everything from getting started, carry forward, and data import, if you want to learn more about that, creating, using a return, and it talks about e-file and requirements for e-filing returns and slips. The next link I want to talk about, which is important, is support articles and resources. So you have this page, which I will show you. And it's our profile community and support. Now you can put in a question in here or put in a keyword search, and it'll give you some information or an article or something that someone might have posted. Now some of the individuals that do post on here are other preparers. So they might have asked a question and some other preparers have answered that question. So it's a really good community hub to get your answers or your questions answered right away. Some great articles. We put as many articles as possible when it comes to learning more about profile. And we've also had the community add their questions and answers within this hub. So it's a great resource for those who need to get a quick answer on a question. And the last link I'm going to show you is the training videos and recorded webinars. So we have something called how-to videos, which we've linked from our YouTube page, and we've applied it to this one page. Core is more of the basic content. Advanced is more of the advanced content, and then some of the recorded webinars that we had in the past are on this page. To actually access this, again, it's under the profile menu, free profile training, and it's going to give you this page, training videos and recorded webinars. Just scroll down and you'll see a bunch of content, and you can scroll through some of the content here. If you want to pick a core or advanced, just click on to the tab and then you'll get more content on this side of the window. Okay, so those are great links to start out with if you are new to profile. But today we're going to get through a little bit of the basics of downloading profile, installing, activating, and updating profile. And I'll also talk about carry forward files. So in this webinar, we will focus on how to download, install, activate, and update profile, and how to carry forward various tax files in profile. This is very important when you are installing profile. It's good to know that the requirements or your system requirements to install profile are given here. Now you can access this also on our web page. There is a section where it'll give you system requirements, but laid out in this video, excuse me, before you do install profile, please take note that you need this important requirements. So before installing profile, please note the following important points. Internet connectivity is required for licensing and auto update. Network workstation install UNC path is not supported. The .NET 4.52 installation and registration are required. So those are important. Windows components are needed within profile or within your system for profile to work efficiently. There's also if you're updating recently, there's going to be more updated .NET framework, so look out for that. And also something called C++. Those are Windows components that are needed for profile to work efficiently. Apple products are not supported. And with the operating system, you have to have at least a Windows 10, Windows 8.1, Windows 7 with the Service Pack 1. And to get the best result with the software, these configurations are needed at a minimum. So a processor that's 1 gigahertz or faster, operating system we mentioned, 64-bit OS, 32-bit OS is supported. It's recommended that you have a 64-bit. Memory is very important. Anything higher than 4 gigabits or higher is really good to have for RAM. Hard drive capacity, of course, for the installation you need at least 3 gigabits. With your printer, it has to be Windows compatible. And your display, the minimum is 1024 by 768. 16-bit or higher color. And then with your internet browser, you need at least an IE11 or higher, and a high-speed internet connection is recommended, especially when you're doing updates or when you're downloading software. Other things that you need to know is the DVD-ROM. If Profile is ordered on DVD, that's no longer available after tax year 2017. So just know that. Network connectivity is required for database sharing and sharing returns or plans between Profile users. E-review feature requires a MAPI email client and PDF reader application, for example, Adobe PDF Reader. And as I mentioned, the .NET framework and also that C++ is needed for system requirements and installation options. To download the installer file, so before you even can start with Profile, if you don't have it installed on your computer, you need to have access to the installer file. Now, the installer file is no longer on a DVD or a CD. It is a digital file. And you can access that digital file either by going straight to profile.intuit.ca. I can click this link here and it'll bring you to that website. And it'll bring you to this download and activate page. Now, if you are on the profile.intuit.ca website, you will be brought to this home page, and to access that download and activate page, it will be Profile, then select Download and Activate. And it's going to bring you to that same page that I showed you. Now, there are some important things that if you notice here, you have the option for I am a new user, I am a returning customer, I need to reinstall Profile, or I'm using OnePay. These will give you options and steps on how to download the software and activate. So these are great steps to click onto. If you're a new user, it's going to give you great instructions as a new user to download the file, how to activate the file, and activate the file, and then you've activated your software. Also, as a returning customer, it's going to give you the same thing, because as a returning customer, you may have had Profile already installed. So all you have to do is just do the update for the latest release. And I'll show you that when we talk about updates. So update Profile to the latest release. When you get your new license, you have to enter that by adding a new license. So these are great steps to follow in accordance to you being a new user, a returning customer, or you need to reinstall Profile. So if you're not a new user, you're a returning customer, you might have switched computers and you need to reinstall Profile on another machine, I would go through these steps here. And those who are OnePay users, of course, you would follow these instructions. To access this again, you would go under Profile, Download, and Activate, and you'll get to this page here. In this case, we want to download Profile. We can also click on to this option here, or this radio button for Download Profile, and it's going to start to download something called a GP setup file. I have the option to run it. I have the option to save it, and it's going to save it to my downloads folder. I have the option to save it as, and I can make the change to the file name, or I can do a save and run. So it's going to save the file to my downloads folder and automatically run that installation. Okay? Or I can cancel if I already have the GP setup file. I'm going to skip that and go through the slide. So that's the installer file. Again, remember that it is a digital file, and to access it, you'd have to go to the profile.intuit.ca website, select Profile, and select Download and install. Now, remember I mentioned that you will need a good internet connection because this is a pretty big file. So it may take some time for some, so just be patient, or it may be quick for those who have a quick internet connection. So just be aware of that. Once it fully downloads into your downloads folder, you can run that file if you just selected save. If you selected save and run, then it's going to run automatically. Okay? And it's this file here, gpsetup.exe. And this will be found in your downloads folder. So let me just bring up that folder here. So what I did was under my downloads folder, I have a file here that's called gpsetup. And the best way to actually run this is to right-click and run it as an administrator. That way the file runs with everything that is needed. For example, installing the .NET framework, if it's missing, the C++, those are the Windows components that are necessary for Profile to work properly. Okay? So run it as an administrator. Just go through the prompts as Profile does the installation wizard. And once you're done and finished, you'll have an icon on your desktop that looks like this. And all you have to do is just double click the icon. Okay. Now, the process itself for installing Profile may take some time, so be patient. It all depends on your system and your memory within your system, your processor. So be patient with it. If you have an older computer with a less faster processor, it may take some time to install Profile. But be patient with it. For those who have new systems, the process will be pretty quick. Okay? Just be aware that you may be prompted to install C++ and .NET framework. Just go ahead and say yes to those. That way it will install it into your system for Profile to work. So activating Profile. When you're activating Profile, you need a product code and license key. When you purchase Profile from either the web store or you purchase it from a sales agent, you will get an email with a product code and license key. The product code will be a 6-digit code and the license key will be a 15-digit code. So just remember, when you're entering the code, you have to enter it as a product code with 6 digits and a license key with 15 digits. If you don't have full digits, then you may get an error that it's an incorrect license code. Okay, so just be aware of that. Now, for those who are have done the prepayment of Profile 2018, you will receive your product code and license key within the beginning of October or second week of October. So just look out for that. We will be sending those codes to you pretty soon. Once you do have those codes, all you have to do is enter it within Profile. So let me show you where that is. So I have Profile here. When you open Profile for the first time, you will be prompted to enter your code. If you don't get prompted to enter your code, you can enter your code by going under Help, Manage Licenses, and you can add new license. When you initially open Profile for the first time, if you haven't had a code entered, you will get a window that's similar to this, and you would have to enter your product code and license key. Remembering that this is a 6-digit code, the license key is a 15-digit code. Once you enter it fully, all you do is click on to activate, and it will activate your license, it will give you a description like this, suite license. This means that it's a full suite with T1, T2, T3 FX and Quebec modules. If you have a suite license that's federal, it's only the federal side, no Quebec component to it. T1, T2, T3 FX. And if you just purchase a T1, it will just give you a description of T1. Same with the T2, description T3 or FX. And to check your license, you can do it under details. It'll give you a broader description. It'll give you your product code, license key. When does that license key expire, and which ones do you have available here? A good tip here, if you ever need to delete your license, you can simply just click on to the license column and select delete selected license. As long as you're connected to the internet, you could free up that license in case you want to transfer it to another machine. Take that same product code and license key and do the same steps as I shown you. Download the software, install it, and then activate it by putting the product code and license key in. Okay. Sometimes for those who are returning customers, they need to update the software, or as a new user throughout your season, there are going to be updates that are deployed by our development team to update the software. That way you're up to date with rates, you're up to date with forms, you're up to date with anything that's important, anything that might have been a miscalculation within the form that we need to correct, something that's a glitch within a feature that needs to be fixed. It will come out in that update. And you need to update the software. Sometimes you can set it to automatic update, or for those who want to do a manual update, you can do that under the online menu. So with profile open, you select online, select check for updates, and it's going to go through the update window and compare excuse me, what version of profile you have, and if there's any updates needed, then it will update the software. You can set your updates to be automatic under the options menu. Go under the environment and then select system tab. And in the middle of this window, there's automatic check for updates. You can enable automatic check for updates, and you can set the day, you can set the time, you can set it to notify you before connecting to the internet, and notify you before downloading the update. So you have control over this. If you prefer not to have automatic updates, then uncheck this, and you can do it manually as I've shown you under the online menu right here. Okay, so that's checking for updates when you are when you need to update the software, and that will happen if you are a returning customer and you have profile already installed and you need to update it to the most current version, or during your season there is an update available. You can choose online check for updates and update the software. Just as a quick note for those who might have shown or registered or came into this webinar a little late, I do have a recording of this available. It will be on the YouTube page, which I can give you the link to. For those who need it for the tour before they attend the tour, this will be available to you as a recorded webinar also on the YouTube page, so don't worry about missing anything. Okay, let's proceed. These are the steps here that I've put together as a image clip, so online check for updates. You also have update information. This is good to know what's new, what's fixed, and any known issues. So this is going to give you information on that update. You can go under online, update information, and it will show you the information under what's new, what's fixed, or known issue. To check your version to make sure that you are up to date, so right now you see that it's 2018.0.0. The actual version that's available right now, which just got released, is a 28.0.2. Let me show you where you can access that. If you look by this clip here, under the Help menu, you can select About. And once you select About, it's going to give you this window here. And it will give you the profile version under Version Information. And if you need to check the details of that profile version, you can click on to Details. So that's a great way to quickly check for the profile version. Okay, so let's move on to carry forward files. You can carry forward files within Profile, whether it is a profile file from prior year, whether it is a Cantax file from prior year, a tax prep file from prior year, and also DTMax. There are 4 ways to carry forward a file, and I will show you all 4. First one is your quick start. Let me bring up Profile here. And your first one will be quick start as soon as I have Profile open. There we go. So this is your quick start window. And if you want to disable this, you can uncheck it at the bottom and you can close it, and this will disable your quick start window. A lot of people do prefer this because it enables them to quickly create a new return, open an existing return, or carry forward. So this is one way if you want to carry forward a file here from 2016 to 2017. You can click on this carry forward a file, carry forward a 2016 file. It's going to go to where your files are stored, and now you can select what type of file that you want to carry forward. Right now it's set by default to profile files. If you have a Cantax file, then you can select by the file type through the drop down, select Cantax or tax prep. If your files aren't stored in the same location as your profile files, then you'll have to browse for where it's located on your system. And then once you browse for that tax prep file or Cantax file and you select the file as a type, it will show in this window here. Okay. See if I can find any files here for 2016. Nope, doesn't look like I have. Let me see if I have files. Profile, there we go. So I can select the file and I can click on to carry forward, and that will carry forward the file from 2016 to 2017 T1. Same with the competitive files, tax prep or Cantax and TurboTax. You can do the same. Now just remember that you would have to carry forward the file from prior year to current year. There isn't an option to convert the file from current year, whether it's Cantax or tax prep, to profile. So there's no conversion tool. Only a carry forward feature is available for these, whether it's profile, Cantax, or tax prep. The other option to carry forward is right here is this icon. You click onto that, it's going to give you that same window to select the file and then carry forward. You could also do it under the File menu, carry forward. So File, carry forward, and you get the same window. Another great one that I know is helpful is the, just get to a 2016 file here, is when you do have a return open, you could simply right-click the actual return in any of the forums. So let me just go to the different ones. Info, right-click, you have the option to carry forward. You go to a T1 jacket, you right-click, the option to carry forward is there. Even on a T4, right-click, carry forward. And this will carry forward the actual return to, in this case, 2016 to 2017. So those are the 4 ways of carrying forward a file. You can either do it through the Quick Start. You can do it through using this carry forward icon. You can go under the File menu and select carry forward. Or if you have a return already open, you can right-click and do a carry forward. Okay. So that is with Profile. You can carry forward files for Cantax by selecting the carry forward icon or file carry forward, or through the Quick Start. You won't be able to do the right click for competitor files. This is only available for profile files. And so just remember that. You can also carry forward DTMax files. So we talked about competitor files, Cantax, and tax prep. Just remember, when you are carrying forward the file, if you don't see the tax prep or Cantax file, just remember to do the drop down and select the file extension for that file. DTMax file is a little bit different. You can carry forward DTMax files by selecting the File menu and then selecting DTMax carry forward. You can carry forward T1 files and you can carry forward T2 files. Let me do a quick demo here with Profile open. And under the File menu, I'm going to select DTMax carry forward. Then you're going to get this window that you saw within the slide. If you're carrying forward a T1 file, you want to click on carry forward, and it gives you step-by-step instructions on what you need to do, first from DTMax, and then some steps on what you need to do within Profile. Okay, so these are the DTMax instructions. So it does suggest to open DTMax, go to Tools, Extract, make sure you indicate printing an e-file data box is checked. We also recommend that you select all clients on the database. Then once you do that on the DTMax file, you can press Next, select where that DTMax file is stored or saved, so you can browse for it and navigate to where the file is stored. Then you can select where you want to have Profile save the file to a profile file. So from DTMax to Profile, so you want to browse and navigate to where the file wants to be saved, or where you want to save the file. And once you have that information, you can carry forward the file. Same with the T2, it's the same steps. File, carry forward, select carry forward T2, It's going to give you the same instructions. So open DTMax, Tools, go to Tools, Extract, make sure you include printing an e-file data box and make sure that's checked, and recommend that you extract from DTMax one client at a time. Select Next, and you have the option to select a year when it comes to T2s. Again, you're selecting where that DTMax file is stored and where do you want to save it within your system. Once you have that information, you press Carry Forward. Okay, great. So just looking over, just want to make sure there's no questions. So that is the steps. And if you ever look for this information, or if you're ever looking for the information, remember where I mentioned where we have the live community. There are great articles on this if you're looking for it. Anything that you're looking for when it comes to carry forward or e-filing or how to put in your CRA credentials will be found under that live community. You just have to put in a keyword and it will find an article, or it'll find a posting by other users. So let's just quickly review what we talked about today. The installer file for Profile is located on the profile.intuit.ca website under the Profile tab, Download and Activate. You'd have to select Download Profile and save the file, and make sure that you run the file from the Downloads folder as an administrator. That way it can install the Windows components when needed. When you activate Profile, you'll need to check your purchase receipt, which will have your product code, which is a 6-digit code, and your license key, which is a 15-digit code. You can update Profile by selecting the online menu, check for updates, and you can also check for information on that update under the online update information menu. It will give you what's new, what's fixed within that update, and any known issues. The version of Profile, so if you want to know the Profile version, that can be found under the Help menu and selecting About. And the last thing that we talked about is carrying forward files from competitor files or from Profile files. Competitor files are Cantax files, tax prep files, or DTMax. And they're easily done through Profile by using the 4 options for Cantax, tax prep, and Profile files, and for DTMax you'll find it under the File menu. If you ever need assistance with anything, if you are a new user and you haven't seen or used our support line, you can call us at 1-800-452-9970. You can also chat with us or send us an email. And there's a great guide within the software. You can also find it on the website. But if you do have the software installed, you can easily access that guide under the Help menu and select User Guide. This user guide gives you much more in-depth steps when it comes to any content or topic that you can think of. And it's really laid out well if you're looking to study or learn more about Profile. So I would really suggest this if you're looking for more content. And that's it for us today. Hopefully you've learned enough about Profile, especially for those who are going to be attending the Profile tour. Make sure that you do have profile downloaded, activated, installed, activated, and updated. Make sure you have some files, or if you carry forward files from competitor files, if you're using a competitor software, you want to carry forward your files into profile, you can do so and be prepared to use those files. Within the tour, you'll also be working with files, so don't worry about that, but it's nice to have files available. And so from that, I want to thank everyone for your attendance. I really appreciate everyone that does attend these webinars, and they learn a bit about profile. And looking forward to learning more, just take a look at the future webinars. If there's any content that you're interested in, please register for them and sign up. And until next time, take care and have a great season upcoming. And again, we'll see you again in the future. Take care.